All right, Kenman here, and it is time for another shipwreck. Let's go! I love it. So much fun. Kenman, what is a shipwreck? Well, a shipwreck is when you take a brass or a copper piece of scale material and you do this to it. Tell me that doesn't look super cool. Little variety. That one was brass, this one's copper. See, it's a little bit darker, but you all these little marbly textures and colors and patterns going on. That's what we're gonna do today. Here is two knives that are the same with completely different results. We can control these results to an extent. I'll kind of show you some of my tricks that I've been working on, but you can make it certain colors a little more than others, more splotchy, more sporadic. So many different ways you can do it. These little Rough Ryder lockbacks are cool. That's the one we're going to do today. Here's a little Civivi. Excellent fun stuff. Got a pen. Nice blue splotchiness on there. Boom. And today we're doing this Rough Ryder right here. I need to grab, I'm missing one key ingredient, and that is some of this tape. The thing with these little Rough Ryder lockbacks, you got a nice brass handle, simple, solid little knife. I got these because they're inexpensive, and it's a good thing I can use as a test. As I'm practicing this until I get better, I can get a little more creative with some better, more expensive knives. But here we are, last looks. Let's get it going. First thing I've been doing, since these are, you can't really take them apart. They're pinned together. And so you'd have to break the pins out and then repin it and sand it. It would be a lot of work. So I've found just not taking it apart at all. I'm taping the blade. This process is like a corrosive patina that we are forcing on the copper or the brass. That's basically the only material that it'll work on. But either way, it slid right at the last second there. Covering up the blade just so that it just protects it a little bit. It is going to be in a wet environment. So by covering up this blade, it's just going to help prevent any little excess corrosion that may or may not occur. And I don't know if it's completely necessary or not. Why can't I just tear that tape? So I'm just taking a couple little pieces here, kind of cleaning it up in that area, just so that it's moderately protected, like I said. And then it gives us a little handle to hold on to while we're prepping the rest. You don't want to leave, well, the way we're doing this with some creative kind of splotchy randomness, I could just leave it as is, but all these little fingerprints and marks on there. I think one of them I'm going to go in and just put a whole bunch of fingerprints on it and then see if we can get that pattern to kind of stay as the patina happens. But I'm going to polish this up, try to get it nice and smooth and clean so we can just allow the chemicals to do all the work for us today. There we are. I'm going to set that aside and let's get going with our products of choice. Okay, if you've not seen one of these before, what are you doing? Go check one of them out. No, we'll do it right here. All right, so I've got this sealed up. I've been using this already. The main ingredient for this is the ammonia. The ammonia fumes help create a lot of the stuff that's going on. So I actually have already used this. There is some ammonia in here. I'm going to throw in a few more of these paper towels that I've got kind of bunched up. The reason I've done this is it's creating different gaps and shapes and things. And so there's going to be sections where there's paper towel just touching it directly and spots where it's not. It's just a nice way to create a bed. I'm going to pour this ammonia liberally, yet kind of splash it around, make sure it get it on all of this paper towel. Be careful you're in a well ventilated area and you don't reach over and breathe in real deep, it stinks for sure. Okay, so we've got a nice layer in there. I'm actually going to add a couple more. This is going to end up dropping in. I'm probably going to go like that. All right, in there that way. So we're just going to create a few more little chunky spots for this to sit in. Create kind of a groove or a little slot. All right. So now, rather than just putting this in, I'm going to add these chemicals in a kind of a sporadic way. I'm going to get a little bit more ammonia on these top paper towels. All right. There we go. Woo! Ammonia is strong. So all these different colors and these patterns that you see on those are coming from different materials and things, or not different materials, different ingredients. One of them, salt, just plain table salt. I'm going to go ahead and shake some of that in there, maybe a little heavier in some spots. I have some Himalayan pink rock salt, a little bit of a variety. It's going to add some bigger chunky texture, bigger spots. The salt creates a lot of the bluing. But if there's a huge spot, it'll make the blue around the salt, not directly on it. So like if you see, that's like one little grain of salt made that kind of circle. Okay. I have soy sauce. I'm going to take a little splash of that soy sauce in just a couple of places. There is salt in there. So that salt is going to be one of the reacting agents of the soy sauce, plus there's some water. It might act as a little bit of a resist. Okay, I also have some vinegar. So we're going to take a little bit of this vinegar. I need, hold on one second. All right, got another little container so I can pour some vinegar in there. Make it a little easier than the huge container that I have. Same kind of deal. I'm just going to splash just a little bit in a couple of little places there. And now we've got most of the things that we want to do. What I'd like now is kind of preemptively prep this. So I'm going to use this Q-tip down in that ammonia down on the bottom. Start splashing some ammonia around on here and let it just be random in some spots. Then we'll go ahead and take a little salt. Right? Get some of that sticking on there. Maybe mix some of it in with that ammonia. Little tap, tap, taps. All right, so we're going to go the other side. Get a little bit of the soy sauce on there. Couple of spots, places. It will naturally get on there, but I'm just trying to find a way to test this out and see what works. And this has been kind of an exciting way to kind of do it and create some different things, colors, textures, patterns. All right, take a little bit of the rock salt, maybe get some of it to stick on there. All right, boom. Okay. And a little more regular salt right over the top of that. And let's go. We're going to find a way to get this in here. Let's go this way. Like that. I'm going to get this right over the top. Let it touch in a few spots. Curl that around so it's touching in there. And I don't want it soaking in ammonia. I just want it sitting on the paper towels, allow them to do their thing. I think that's going to be good. So we're going to leave it at that. We can do a little check, but if we move it, it's going to change the way that it's reacting right there. So I may kind of pull them aside, push it back, might do a couple updates, but other than that, we're going to let this sit for about At least 6 hours, maybe more. I've been usually letting them sit for 6 hours and leaving it overnight and checking it in the morning. But we'll see how the progress is. Get this covered up real nice, just like that, and I will see you in a few. Well, I let her sit overnight. Let's see what has happened. All right, it's fairly coated, tough to kind of see what's under there. Let's see. Ooh, very cool. I dig it. All right, so we're going to take this out. I'm going to leave it at that. Going to grab me a paper towel over here, sorry. And right now, all this is still wet. We have to wipe it off. Some of that blue is not going to stay. It's kind of a coating. So I like to let it dry completely. When it does that, it just has an extra little few moments to kind of soak in and set itself. Then we'll wipe it off clean and see what our final results are. Looks like we are dry enough. Now usually I would just take the scales and rinse them in some warm water, but since this is together, I don't really want to just dunk the whole thing. So I'm kind of just doing a slow kind of a wipe action like this. You can see, there we go. So look at all that blue on there. Like I said, a lot of that is not completely soaked or patinaed in, so some of it does come off, as you can see. But there is still some blues in there, so it's fine. Depends on what your final outcome that you're trying to achieve is. And I was just trying to get a third, kind of a combination of the first two that I attempted, if that makes sense. Just gonna wipe these off. See what they look like, what our final deal is here. Ooh, I like it. I like it. So a couple more little wipes here. Basically, some of these materials or the chemicals, the salt stuff hasn't completely soaked in and affected the metal, so it's just kind of sitting on the surface. So you got to basically clean that excess off, and then we can finish this thing up. Wow. I'm digging it. It's darker, but it's a lot of marbling, a lot of cool kind of variations and stuff. Some neat blacks and bare copper sections and a little bit of everything. I like it. I like it. Enjoy these patinas of the shipwrecks. If so, hit that like button. Subscribe if you'd like to see more, because I plan on doing more. All right, I'm going to wipe it down, make sure there isn't anything in there, and the cracks and stuff looks like it's pretty much all good. Get it dry, and then we will spray some clear coat. I will see you outside. Well, it was raining out, and I couldn't get a good angle on spraying this with the clear coat, so I just skipped to here. I put a little hook on the end, put a couple layers on, let it hang to dry, put a couple more layers on, and now we're done. Let's go ahead and remove this tape that is probably more excessive than it needs to be. But you can never be too careful sometimes, right? All right, there it is. We have done it. Oh, I'm excited. This is definitely kind of a mix of the last two. Let's take some looks. What does everybody think? Oh, I love it. It turned out so good. I will keep saying it. I am just in love with this process. The shipwrecking is so much fun. It's just so cool. What do we think? Okay, so let's take all three of these Rough Riders that I've done, and we can kind of get a little bit of an idea here. So I'm going to continue with the experimenting. Obviously, we've kind of dialed in some techniques. So you can see this one here, most of the splotches, trying some of those different chemicals and things. And then this one I went heavy on the salt to try to get some more of the blues and the greens. And then the third one, I kind of did a combination of the two. So I added some more like that soy sauce and the different salts. And we got a little combination of both of them. A little bit of this and a little bit of that gives you right here. I'm going to continue to experiment, come up with some more little variants, see if I can control it a little bit more in the chaos that the shipwrecking is. But man, I love it. So much fun. Look at these three. Bing, bang, boom. Awesome stuff. Comment below, what do you think of this one? Much more coming soon. Stay sharp. Have a great day. We'll see you then.